though, we begin with more money coming to Americans. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelly Eckerman. This afternoon, President Biden signed the massive COVID relief package into law. Key features in it include $1,400 stimulus checks to individuals earning less than $75,000 a year and married couples making less than $150,000 a year. There's a $300 federal boost for weekly unemployment benefits and an expansion of the child tax credit up to $3,600 per child. The bill also helps low-income households cover rent payments. As Karen Caifa reports, this comes just hours before President Biden's first primetime address.
On the heels of his first major legislative victory.
Well, this historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country.
A nearly $2 trillion package designed to help millions of Americans get through the next phase of the COVID-19 pandemic. President Joe Biden will speak to the nation.
He plans to provide a clear outline of his approach, level with the American people about what is required of them, but also provide a sense of hope.
Since taking office, the president has often reflected upon the more than 500,000 U.S. lives lost to COVID-19, leaning into the role of consoler-in-chief.
Today we mark a truly grim, heartbreaking milestone.
1 year ago, on March 11, 2020, former President Donald Trump addressed the nation hours after the World Health Organization declared a global pandemic.
The virus will not have a chance against us. No nation is more prepared or more resilient than the United States.
It's a night many look back on as a turning point. Tonight, Biden will look forward and highlight the benefits of his newly passed, newly signed economic relief plan.
What I'm talking about tonight is the impact on the virus and how we're going to end this pandemic. And we're going to talk all the elements of the bill beginning on Friday, Saturday, and through the week.
Pushing back on Republican criticism that not all of it was necessary, not a single congressional Republican voted for the bill. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
You can watch President Biden's address right here on KMBC 9 at 7 o'clock. Vaccinations continue to ramp up. This is a look at the vaccination rate in Kansas and Missouri, according to the CDC. In Kansas, 273,000 people have been fully vaccinated. That accounts for 9.4% of the population. In Missouri, it's 564,000 people, which is 9.2% of the population. And there is breaking coronavirus news. Just moments ago, Governor Parson announced there will be a mass vaccination event at Arrowhead Stadium. It's set for next weekend. KMBC 9's Michael Mahoney has those details.
Kelly, this is part of a shift in the strategy by the state of Missouri. They're going to start focusing on sending and giving the shots to areas where the most folks are unvaccinated. And that will be like the parking lot at the Jackson County Sports Complex. 6,000 shots of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
This will be a two-day event starting next Friday, March the 19th. 2 National Guard teams will be on the grounds Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Until now, most but not all mass vaccination events have been in outstate Missouri. And the news has been filled with stories of Kansas Cityans or St. Louisans driving long distances just to get a shot. Kansas City Health Director Rex Archer says the Kansas City region is 40,000 doses behind.
We may have a chance of catching up by the end of the month. If we also are doing some of these other specialty mass vaccination clinics.
Missouri is now in the middle of the pack of states on vaccination rates per 100,000. Kansas is 32nd on the same chart. The event at Arrowhead will be open only to people on the Jackson County sign-up list by appointment. And there are an estimated 100,000 people on the county's list.
Names of the eligible Missourians will be chosen from a list of those who have previously signed up to receive the vaccine with the Jackson County Health Department.
So the state is going to use the Jackson County Sports Complex and the Arrowhead parking lot, not the stadium itself, for a mass vaccination event next weekend. It will be limited to 6,000 people who are on the Jackson County sign-up sheet, which is still open. Kelly?
And Jackson County owns and controls the sports complex. The Chiefs are just tenants. As we told you earlier this week, we know Kansas is preparing to move into phase 3 of its vaccination plan. Dr. Lee Norman says the move will happen within the next month. That means people between the ages of 16 and 64 with critical conditions can get vaccinated. Also covered are critical care workers and everyone who qualifies under the first 2 phases. Meanwhile, some counties want to move to phase 3 now. A Republican Kansas lawmaker says he wants to overturn Governor Laura Kelly's policy. Senate Health Committee Chair Richard Hildebrand introduced a bill after calling the governor's policy of withholding vaccine, quote, blackmail or extortion. Earlier this week, the Riley County Health Director says she was told she wouldn't receive any vaccine if they moved to phase 3 before the state. The state health department says withholding vaccine doses is an enforcement mechanism. If you're still wondering how to get the vaccine, go to KMBC.com and click on that How to Get a Vaccine option on the front page. There you'll find information for where you live, plus a list of all the latest vaccination events.